So while we're on the topic of linear equations, we just finished up slope-intercept form. That is the easiest way for us to graph an equation. Or if we're ever told, write the equation for the given function, you want to put it in y equals mx plus b. However, sometimes it's given to us in standard form. So we want to be able to recognize what standard form is and then be able to solve to put it into slope-intercept. So this is standard form, okay? Most often they are written this way, not always, but we're going to convert them to slope-intercept so that we can graph. It's always easier to do that. Standard form is when you have the x and the y terms on the same side. In this equation, the a, the b, and the c, they all represent some number. We just don't know it yet. But in order to put it into slope-intercept form, we're going to convert this, and we do that by solving for y. The whole reason we want to do that is to get y by itself, so I can then find my m, find my b, and graph. Okay. So we have been saying, Miss Nell and I, isolate the variable. So we're going to isolate y, or get it by itself. Very simple steps to convert. Step 1, get the y term alone by bringing the x term over through addition or subtraction. Please write that down. Bring the x term over through addition or subtraction. Okay, so here's what that would look like. This is my x term. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides to get by equals negative a plus c. Remember, we want our x term before our constant term so that I can identify easily my slope and my y-intercept. Okay. After I've done that, step 2 is to get the y term alone by dividing by b. So I would divide everything. Everything has to get divided by b. Okay. So this is a little different for some of us. But that leaves me with this. This is officially now slope-intercept form. You are in slope-intercept form when y is by itself. Okay? So let's take a look how that might look. So let's look at number 1. First, I get the y term alone by subtracting x from both sides. That would give me y equals negative x minus 2, right? There you go. I can identify my slope would be, m would be negative 1, and my b would be negative 2. So if this were me, I would write that down because then it helps me down the road. So on this one, I'm going to add 4 this time. Why am I adding 4 to both sides? 4x, I should say, is because that original x term is negative. But if I do it on the left, I must do it on the right. That will leave me with y equals 4x. And there was a 5 there, and that 5 was positive, so plus 5. So now this is in slope-intercept form. Again, I can identify my m and my b. In number 2, my m would equal 4, and my b would equal 5. So please write that down right now for number 2. All right, so some of you might be going ahead because you might understand number 3 now. What do you think we do? Subtract 5x from both sides. Then I have 6y equals. Again, I always take my x term first, and it was a negative 5x. My constant was positive. But this time it's a little different. Y is not by itself yet. So I'm going to divide every single thing here by 6. Okay? In some cases, it'll work out. So this leaves me with y equals. I can't do negative 5 divided by 6. Yeah, I can take a calculator, but it's going to be a long decimal. So leave it. Negative 5 over 6x. That's what it is. But I can do 12 divided by 6, and that gives me 2. So again, I need you to write m equals negative 5, 6. That's your slope. And my y-intercept, which would be b equals 2. Okay? So we're going to be looking for this. The m equals b equals on numbers 1, 2, and 3. Now I want you to finish 4, 5, and 6 on your own, showing the steps just like I did, and writing m equals b equals. That needs to be on every single one here. So the reason we do this, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we convert is so that I can graph easily. So you only need to do this one with me. Don't do all the other ones, okay? I only want this one done. Do not do the other ones, okay? So our first step, all of you should be saying, oh, subtract 3x from both sides. And you're right. If I subtract 3x from both sides, I'm left with y on this side equals negative 3x plus 5, okay? So here's now what you need to do, what I was just saying on the other 6. M is going to equal and B is going to equal. Here is my B. Remember, we always start with B. Begin. It's where I begin. Okay, and I'm going to put a point on that 5. I always do this first. Put your beginning point. Then go look at the number being multiplied by the x. Okay, that would be negative 3. So then I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction because I need a rise and I need a run. The number on top is my rise, but it's negative. So I'm really going to go down 3. My run is the number on the bottom, my denominator. It's a positive 1, so I go right 1. Then I place my point. You should do it again. Go down 3 and right 1, and then place another point. Remember, 2 points make a line, 3 points make it fine. So now I can graph my line. That is why we convert from standard to slope-intercept. It makes our life a lot easier. Now, if we didn't understand that, you could do what we did last Tuesday night. Pick an x, plug it in, solve for y, and then you can plot the ordered pairs. That might take a little longer, but it's still doable. So hopefully this all makes sense to you, and we are going to practice it a bit more. But if there are any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.